06. We definitely have a quorum, and I believe we're in compliance.
Okay,
Yes, we are. And here comes Jeff. I'll wait for him to get over here before we say the pledge. You're welcome. Stand with me. You're just fine. I'm glad you're here. I pledge allegiance
to
the United States of America,
America,
to the republic
Republic
which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public comments? I don't see any names. Shirley, do you want to say anything? No. All right. And we had no comments to answer tonight from before communication. I don't believe anything new. Okay, so minutes from the September 25 meeting, which I appreciate all of you bearing with me and my family emergency that night. All is well now. I did notice one anomaly on page, well, the packet, page 7, page 606 of the notes themselves. Apparently, Brittany and I voted to come out of
You did.
session.
It's true.
Those two need to be. Yeah, Brian.
Did I send you guys the right?
I think it is. So going into closed session is correct, but the list coming out just was.
Just say September 25th.
Yeah.
There's.
I said that.
They just did.
I don't know.
Brittany, were you here last month?
No, Faye had a game. Oh, that's right.
Resume open session made by Mark Peterson, second by Beth. Is that not what everybody says?
It's the roll call vote.
The roll
That
call.
is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and Mark.
that's why.
Mark Gavich, were you here that night? So
Yes.
he should have been on the closed session roll call.
I'm 6.
Okay.
There we go.
You're on 7,
Yeah.
but Brittany and Jenny shouldn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So we need to add Mark B to page 6, add Brian to page 7, and remove Brittany and Jenny from page.
And there's no time.
There's no time. So,
Oh man, we made sure too.
so I
do
I
that.
wrote it in my notes. So we went into closed at 6:30
6:30.
I'm glad you did because we talked.
and we came out at 6:51.
It's 50, yeah,
I think at 51 you had 52 or something.
I 6:51 for open, but 6:35 for,
Oh, I had 6:30 even. Okay.
but either one.
I don't think we're gonna get in too much trouble on it.
No.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Any
Second.
okay, hold on.
A motion by Brian,
Good idea.
second from Becky,
Mhm.
to accept the minutes as amended. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion is carried. All right, treasurer's report.
The most significant thing to point out here doesn't come out here. It is that there was an awesome deposit, which isn't reflected in that one.
Oh, yeah.
But it is, we had an awesome deposit of $1,800, give or take, for the book sale. And, which I'm sure took Becky a fair amount of time to count all the bills. I know it took me quite a while to recount all the bills. But that isn't on this treasure report. That's from this month of October. There wasn't anything glaring that I was aware of on this. We had a couple of catch-up things, sort out a couple of bills, Neil Johnson and such to play with that. We had to put a part of it on credit card for the first one of 2 bills, and therefore it makes it a little funky on how we do it back and forth between the city. When there's something on a credit card, we pay the city. But normally that wouldn't be something going through the city. Normally we pay that because we have a copier fund. And so people that use the copier, money goes into our board designated funds, and then we pay the E.O. Johnson bills out of our board designated funds. But because of a time constraint, we had to put the first E.O. Johnson bill on a credit card. So the city pays the credit card, we gotta pay the city back. So that'll, if anybody's actually coordinating all these things, to say, hey, why did they do it that way? Oh, that's why. It all comes out of the same pot in the library board designated funds. Just for the hot air, if anybody's got any questions, that nothing has changed dramatically, you can see the summary, which is on our page 8 of the pack. The rest of this is just reflecting what went in and out.
Your work there. Any questions for Bruce? Okay, then, moving on to the director's report.
We had 25 kids and their parents at the homeschool pumpkin decorating, which is amazing. And we already have something scheduled for wreath making in November because they wanted to do wreath making. So with that size, we're doing everything at the Presbyterian Church, which is really nice. So lots of good space. Linda's going up to the kindergartens on Thursday mornings again, which is great. They used to have outreach programs that we used to go to, and their funding got cut for the outreach programs. So we're going to try to make sure that we make it up to every school open house because we used to go to the outreach. So that's kind of a bummer. Head Start is here on Wednesdays when the room isn't full of book sale books. Otherwise, Linda goes there when it's gross. So that's fine. Evelyn and Linda are at a retreat today. I was supposed to go to one tomorrow, but I am not feeling great this week, and I am at WLA on next week. So I am not going. Thanks. Yeah. I tested myself for everything that I could possibly test.
Okay, immediately no.
No, we had a very, very busy weekend this weekend. And I think I just overdid it. It's okay.
Okay.
Anyways, but I am at WLA next week, and it's in Middleton.
Questions for Becky? Good. Staff meeting.
And I apologize if this went out so late. Yeah, my head this week is just. It did go out this afternoon for those of you that check your email every 3 minutes.
I don't.
Otherwise, let me just look it over. Party for Jody on Monday. Anybody that wants to come 3 to 6, she requested pizza, so we're gonna get pizza from the Loggers Pizza Place. And then we have a couple other special treat. Oh, are they not open on Monday?
I mean, they haven't been.
All right, well, we'll do something.
Maybe
Is
they.
it BP?
Yeah.
Still doesn't.
No, nobody even thought of that.
We've been bummed before.
Would burgers be open?
Yeah, they're open.
Because burgers has pizza too.
Okay.
There's
There you
people
go.
who own burgers on Loggers,
I don't think so.
some connection.
We will talk, we'll ask her what her second favorite pizza is and we will get pizza on Monday. Ooh, all right.
All right, any questions
Oh,
about
Monday.
staff meeting minutes?
No. Staff meetings.
Circulation report, page 15.
I'm not concerned about anything. I think we look pretty good. We're following trends. We're not lower than we should be. I don't think. Park Falls has been understaffed, so they're not open on Saturdays. And since they're sharing the building with City Hall, it's been interesting to see how much that has impacted their service. I'm interested in it, I guess, but not that that really is. We don't have to answer for that, but it is interesting to see.
But most say a new director yet?
They did, they hired Jody, that's why she's leaving. Yes. I know, so not my fault that she's leaving, guys.
That's what the party is?
That's what the party is. We wish her good luck on her next adventure.
Is it? No, I could-
When's her last day?
Next Friday. Yes, she
Like a
works
week
this Saturday, so a week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow. Okay.
Right. Any news from the Friends group other than that they've been busy with the book sale?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
And I was expecting a couple kids from the tap, but I guess maybe they forgot it was over here.
Well, and if Linda's gone.
That's true. Yeah, they are amazing. They did a tutoring night on Tuesday, and they are doing a trivia night, I think the second Friday in November. And they decided that they wanted to take themselves seriously enough that they're following Robert's rules and they're coming up with their bylaws and they're running their meetings like meetings.
That's an advisory group.
That's the teen
I
advisory
was thinking
committee.
of a friends group, sorry.
No, it's not.
Uh,
So it's been really, really fun to see. It's a cool group of kids. Yeah, I'm having fun trying to teach them all the ones that I kind of know.
Tell them to join FBLA and they can put it to practice.
I think more than one of them are actually already on FBLA. I mean, the pool in Phillips is like this big, so a lot of these kids,
Yeah.
Okay. Library renovation project.
So I finally gave up on finding a local electrician. I apologize, but I needed to do this, and so I called the door people, and so he found one from Eagle River, and they have been out, and the quotes have all been signed, and now it is in their court. They are supposed to be scheduling when they're going to come out to do my doors. It will be about $600 over, but this board had told me that that was okay. So yeah, so once they do everything, I will get that extra money from you guys, and we'll get that $10,000 out of our account. So yeah, I told them I wanted to do it this year yet. So I'm thinking hopefully, because otherwise I think it has to be done by March and I don't want to try to do it in February. So,
Plus, just on the practical side, I think it's hard to get that door open, especially if it's wet or slick or has snow on the
Yes.
ground. So that should be really helpful for people who struggle with the door to get in the building safely.
So is this a whole new door system or does it adapt to the existing door we have?
it adapts to the existing door we have.
Okay.
And it's both doors. It's the back door and the front door.
Okay.
So
Do you know, Becky, if it affects the locking mechanism at all, or is it just to open and close the door?
it's just to open and close the door.
I was in the library recently. I don't know if any of you have been there when the librarians are trying to close the building.
yeah.
And I realized Val had to leave the library, go outside to lock the door, to come inside and pull the door shut.
It has to be open to lock it. Because the lock's on the inside. The key's on the outside, and the only way to lock it is using the key.
Can we look into what it would cost to change that? Because I feel like that's
Sure.
really a security.
Yeah.
Okay.
That if you have something on the outside of the building that you want to stay on the outside of the building, the only way to lock that out is
that's
to
true.
leave the building. That's scary to me. Plus, it should have a crash bar to leave once it's locked. And
Okay.
it doesn't.
It has
So,
that push thing.
Yeah, which kind of gets stuck and you have to like slam the thing.
All right. What would it cost to fix the lock on the front door?
And if we're going to mechanize the door, do we need
Yeah.
to just replace the door with something that's built with those features intact already?
Okay.
Just something to.
Yeah, I
That
thought
really
this was
bothered me
replacing
when
the
I was-
doors. I didn't
I thought-
realize.
That's
I
what I was
thought it
thinking.
was-
$10,000, it seems like an awful lot for just open and close.
Some hardware to
Wow.
So if we could, since it's delayed anyway, let's
Right.
find out about that because I
Yeah.
thought, man, you have an active shooter out there or something going crazy at the courthouse and you can't even lock the door from
That's
the
true.
inside. That's scary.
You can't lock the door from inside,
Well, you have to.
even if you're still in it?
There is that little latch. Does that latch do it? I've never used that latch. We've always just done it with the key. And
But
now that
then-
I'm thinking about it, it might be possible. Because
I don't know.
there is a little thingy down there.
I don't know, but let's
Yeah.
look into that because
Yeah,
it
we'll
seems like
look
a
into
security.
Well, what if we had time to have the meeting here?
Sorry.
That's what I was.
Yeah, the one time we did something.
I was under the impression we were getting a whole new door,
That's what I
Yeah.
thought too.
but to say for
No, to the contrary, little children, we'll pick on them. If it's like a traditional deadbolt, like, I'm thinking like my office, we deadbolt it from the inside. There's probably concerns about the public, like someone unintentionally locking it from the inside, like kids playing a prank.
But you could have it keyed from inside and out.
You have
And
a
that
key
would-
inside and out?
That's not a safety issue as long as you're not ever locking it when the library is open.
Right.
Right.
Okay, if the only thing is we're talking about nighttime closing procedure, I don't think there's any issue with having a key. And you wouldn't leave the key in there, but the librarian would have the key, or whoever's closing up would have the key, and then they could lock it from inside. And you couldn't have that inadvertent oops, or hey, ha ha ha. You know,
Right.
whatever the kid was gonna do or something.
They still should lock it till everybody's actually out of the building. though.
Oh, sure.
Correct.
Because,
Right.
because
Yeah.
currently, I've been there when they've locked the door, so nobody else comes in. But then I still need to leave, so they have to let me out, which is kind of like, if there were a fire, an emergency, I'm gonna be able to get out the door all by myself.
That's not supposed to be happening. So that one I can say that is not supposed to be. So,
We'll get on
yeah.
the staff meeting minutes next month.
And I'm not looking to get anybody in trouble,
Right.
but just
No,
if
of
we're
course.
doing
Right.
the door anyway,
Right.
let's make sure
Should-
the whole thing is
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
But yeah, if it's locked so people can't come in, you shouldn't have to do something to get back out.
Right.
Because the
Right.
key's on the outside.
The crash bar would be.
A crash bar, yeah.
No, on the staff entrance, is that door the same thing? Is locked from the outside as a default? Oh, is that how you traditionally lock it up?
No, that one has a little lock on it. I mean, the key lock is on the outside, but that one has it's just a normal like door. So you
Okay.
just,
So if there was like an active shooter situation, you could lock that from the inside without having to go outside.
yes. And if we're there alone, like on Saturdays, we don't usually leave it unlocked. So
Well, that's
just
a safe
because
idea.
if there's just one of us, it's
Yeah.
a lot
As
to
long
keep
as you
track of.
get out.
So,
Sure.
yeah. And I usually lock it when I leave at 5. So
Okay. So it'll be $10,600
approximately
approximately
like 642 something.
ish. And that would be to put the mechanism on both of our existing doors.
Yeah.
So that would be like wiring the push button for and making the
Yeah.
door move.
Yes.
I'm picturing a whole new door, so I'm just visualizing now.
Any other questions regarding renovation? All right then, no old business to discuss tonight. New business, September bill.
There wasn't anything extraordinary in the form of the bill. We'll see, however, that nice deposit that I was talking about on page 20. $1,876. We should make a comment about the Price County mini storage,
Yes.
because that is an unusually large amount. That is an amount covering 2 years.
Right.
That is covering from like last year's summer to this summer and this summer to next summer.
Right.
Because if you recall earlier, we had, for the first time, caught a bill from these guys for like 3 years ago.
Because we don't normally bill people. And I finally told Mr. Heightemper that if you didn't bill me, there was no way I was going to remember to pay. So then he started.
That's why it is kind of large, $660 per year.
So it's paid through summer 2020.
Yeah, I think it's May or June of next year.
Yeah, some spring. Yeah,
What size unit is that?
it's the size of a single car garage. So yeah, what I know what the
10 by 20.
it's not the smallest one I've ever seen, and it's not the biggest one. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It looks like it's like it's the width of a parking space about, and I mean you could fit a truck in it. So however deep that.
For 20.
Yeah.
I don't think they're any smaller than that.
If it's got a garage door,
Yeah.
because I think if it's smaller, it's gonna have just a regular door.
Oh yeah, no, it's a lift. So, yeah.
20, I think is their smallest.
Okay.
There was one other thing we should mention. That is on, not as far as the bills that we would be potentially approving with the city. But if you go to page 20, we are requesting that the board pay for the Christian Coal program.
Yeah.
tonight.
I'm just gonna bring
Yes.
that up.
Why'd you bring it up?
We don't very often have big bills like this that get paid from the operating funds. And so we are just very much behind the eight ball. And if the board pays for it, then we can actually get him paid in a timely manner. Otherwise, if we try to get it to go through the city, then this poor guy won't get a bill for another 3 weeks
Is
because
that his
of
name,
the city.
Christian Cole?
Christian Gold, yeah.
That's not, I realize
That was a-
that.
So,
Opposed to Muslim measles.
and when we finish by 6:30, I am literally going to run this check over there tonight so we can put it in a hot little pan if you guys approve it. But that is why, right. But that is why I'm asking you guys to do it this time. And I apologize, and Jody and I just both looked at each other and we were like, oh, shoot. And of course, he doesn't take credit cards, and so we will be more aware of this next time, but yeah.
So we are requesting authorization for $5,464.98. Approval for standard bills above the line. We're requesting board designated funds $636.09 below.
I'm looking for a motion to that effect.
I will make a motion to approve the bills as stated.
Motion by Becky. Do we have a second?
This is Annie. I can second.
Second from Annie. Welcome to the board, Annie.
Thank you.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion is carried. All right, one quick comment before we move on from these lovely spreadsheets here. I noticed earlier yesterday, when I was looking at these, that our periodical budget still has more than 50% of its.
Yeah.
I would love to see if we could look into some magazines section. Some of the traditional highlights and Ranger Rick and National Geographic Kid. There's a cool Lego option. There's a cooking one. One for all kinds of STEM things I was just looking at today. And I have a printout of options if you're interested.
We did get rid of the kids ones on purpose. It was
Oh,
a decision made by Joe Hick because they were not circling and they were getting played with in the library and pretty much torn to pieces because they don't fold up. I am happy to try them again, but I do want you guys to know that like it was an actual decision made, yes, conscious, thank you, to not have them in the kids area anymore.
I think we have that wall display over
Yeah.
the older kids novels. If we could
Okay.
put some
Mhm.
clear holders for a couple of them right there above the height and hands of the littles, I think they might get some attention in that a new spot.
All right, we can give it a shot.
And then the checkout is, so what's the
It's a-
checkout for the adults? The newest ones can't leave?
No, the newest ones are overnight. So if it's the newest issue, you get it for 24 hours, or if you're savvy and check it out on a Friday in the summer or a Saturday in the winter, you get it for 2 extra days. And then they're a week.
Then they're a week. Okay.
I'll even just make it the newest edition stays in the kids area. Just let the old editions go.
Either one, yeah.
Either way.
Okay.
But just a thought, if we put it there with where those older kids novels are, I think it would get the attention of the kids who would actually see them.
All right.
I
Sounds
know
good.
those were popular with my daughter when we went to other libraries. She's like, oh. It was granted, we did read them in there. We didn't check them out because I knew we weren't coming back there.
Sure. All right.
Okay, since there was money there, just thought I'd mention that. Okay, so discussion action on library board seat loss. It's starting on page 21. It looks better on paper than it did on my screen. That's good.
Oh,
The
yeah.
spacing is all one. Yes, to 23.
Yeah, so 22 and 23 is the form that we were giving people to fill out. That we would then pass along to the county or the city.
The 21, I know most of you guys look at it already. 21 matched my understanding of our discussion last time. Nothing jumped out.
I would, and then 22 to 23, I know matched what I filled out when I applied for my library board position, but for that additional sentence or two,
Yes.
the thought behind changing that.
It's part of the DPI. It was right off the DPI page. And I guess I just want to really make sure that people realize that when they're volunteering to be on the library board, same way that I am being told that I am not supposed to ever have an agenda. If you're serving on the board, you are not supposed to be having an agenda either.
What question did you ask for?
On page 22, it was in red when I sent it out to you guys, and then I didn't
Right.
print this in color. So it's the light gray edition of those like two little sentences. Yeah. And the stuff before that is taken from the DPI too, because I was like, well, where did we get this from? And it's all just on the DPI page.
So actually, I have one comment on the first page, is the item 1 of who they should be notified. I feel it should be either the, what do you call them? President.
Perhaps the person that appoints them.
Technically, it should be the person who appointed them, so it'd be the mayor or the county board, but it was either that or it should be the board president, in my opinion is.
Sure.
I mean, I know the director does a lot of the paperwork for the board, but realistically, the director reports to the board, so it seems a little odd to be reporting your resignation to somebody that reports to the board. So I would say it should either be, I think for simplicity, it might be easier for them to be the president, but
Yeah.
I agree,
Perhaps.
or it could be the mayor.
You know, the initial person would be the president, and then the president would tell whoever in charge of appointing the replacement.
So in here it does, who tells that person, and I forget now when I read this, okay, so the director will inform the board. And then was there anything in here about who notifies the city or the?
No, there's nothing in here about who notifies the
Okay,
city council, because we just, I think maybe, I think if we change it to when a current board member notifies the library board president, the library board president will inform the full library board. And then I'd say let's add it, yeah, and the appointing party.
Appointing leader, appointing jurisdictions leader, or appointing, whatever.
Authority, whatever,
Authority,
yeah.
yeah.
It's gonna be either the county board chair, or it's gonna be the.
Right.
So.
Okay, so just change
Like, just
the,
say
Yeah.
mayor/county or county board.
yeah. Okay.
Hey guys, if you don't mind, I need sort of a point of clarification on this one because I'm coming late to the conversation, obviously, but is the idea here that the library board is going to filter a recommendation out of the number of people who are raising their hand to be on the board? Because I'm kind of confused. It seems like the mayor or the county is the entity that decides ultimately so what is the purpose of it going through the library board other than transparency and understanding who's being put forward?
I don't think there's any filtering taking place, Annie. It's just a matter of collecting interested parties so that we can present options, and that it narrows the legwork of the appointing authority because we've already collected information and have it all in one place for them as a starting place, but they're welcome to appoint anyone they choose, whether we hand them that information or not.
Okay, then I have a follow-up question, which is if I look at this format, then there's really about 30 to 60 days minimum between opening the vacancy and then sharing that information with the appointer person, right? So I'm wondering if that actually slows down the process too much. Like, why is it not just sort of if someone is interested, they can raise their hand at any time and that transparency comes across to the board, here. And then it's just available for, here's the list of all the people who have ever expressed interest for the mayor or the county court people, or whatever, the county people. it seems like it's slowing down the process of filling a spot, and I don't understand why we would hold up something that we actually have no control over.
We had commented last month, Annie, this is Bruce Marshall. We had commented last month that we don't want the board making a recommendation. And in fact, one of the things I was going to comment on the paperwork that's here is I don't like the wording on number 6, forwarding of recommendations. We're not forwarding recommendations. The idea was, and we really kind of hammered on this last month, that the board has absolutely zero authority on any of this. Okay.
Yeah.
The mayor or the county board can say, blow it off. Annie raised her hand, I'm appointing her. Okay, that's, the mayor can do that in your case. The county board chair could do that in case of county appointings. What we were suggesting is that when the county board had done some appointments here a couple of years ago, they had put out a questionnaire, somewhat like what Becky passed along to us here, just to get like, okay, what's the interest, and explain to the mayor or explain to the county board chair why you want to be on the board. Okay, without our having any ability to say, well, that's a bad reason, that's a good reason, whatever. Because maybe the board chair or maybe the mayor really isn't interested in digging around to anything other than the first one to show up. Okay, fine, good enough. And in fact, that's why I had talked to Mayor Peterson a month and a half ago when he was about to go ahead and appoint you. And I asked him, hey, could you just put a hold on it for a month and just to see if there is anybody else that comes forward, anybody else that you'd want to talk to, whatever. And I don't think we're in any hurry in typically. I mean,
I think the whole design of this is to make awareness so we get more candidates.
Right.
Interested.
And so that we board members, we're obviously people that are interested in the library and we're involved, and we can spread the word around to say, hey, if you're interested in being on the library board, and regardless of what persuasion anybody is, just a matter of, I commented last month, when I got on the library board, it was sort of like the guy ahead of me wouldn't get off until he couldn't get off until he found a replacement. Well, that was 30 years ago. Back then it was like, how are we going to fill the library board? Not how are we going to choose among 5-10 candidates? So that anyways, that was what we talked about last month and what the thinking was. It isn't trying to filter it. It's just trying to tell the mayor, tell the county board chair, if they're interested in doing this, hey, here's a list of people and here's what they said, and not here's what the board recommends.
And to follow up to that, I know last time with Meredith's resignation, Becky was out on medical leave. And so the mayor found out before the board found out. And so he was 3 weeks ahead of the rest of us on even finding a replacement. So this was just hey, you give time to interested parties. And I know Brian, as the chair of the county board, made the comment, you don't want to be going and digging up candidates yourself. So if we can hand you a list, we pre-filter for you. You don't want 20 people randomly calling you. You want it pre-filtered, then you'll reach out to them.
Not filtered in the sense that we reject anyone,
yes.
but
Thank you.
collated, collected.
Collated, yes, corrected.
I guess
That is a better word.
And Annie, the other piece of information that's important to consider is that I don't believe Brian or the mayor want to be keeping an ongoing collection of paperwork because people change their minds, they move, their life situation changes. So to keep a collection of, just because somebody was interested the last time there was an opening doesn't mean they're still interested. So going through the process each time is not a big deal and should present the appointing person with a current list of interested parties.
So then is there sort of a partnership with the appointing people to understand that it's going to be 2 to 3 months before they can appoint? Are they waiting on us automatically, or how does that piece work?
There is no existing process, Annie. This is the first time that
sorry, Bruce. I guess I mean not from going forward with the way that this is written. Is that the expectation that the mayor, for example, would understand that he has to wait until the library board goes through a 90-day, 60 to 90-day process?
Oh, he knows he doesn't have to wait for anything. He's free to appoint someone if he chooses.
Well, then to that point, then my question, I guess, is just, does this policy actually make sense? That we would open up a vacancy like as an announcement and then, because it looks like, so there's first the library director or the president in this case is informed, then there's an announcement, then there's an expression of interest. By the time all of that happens, according to the timeline of the procedure, it's almost like potentially too late to actually provide any insight. So to me, almost like an ongoing sort of, hey, we're always looking for people to be involved. Are you interested in being part of this? Keep a running tally of some sort. You're right. You're going to have to go back and review that when the time comes. But I don't know. It just seems like we're putting a lot of extra effort into something that doesn't necessarily collide with what they are expecting to do on the other side of appointing somebody. That's all. It's just a point of, does this policy even make sense?
Let's ask one of the two appointing people.
Makes sense to me. This is Brian, I'm county board chair also. Just because, for instance, down in Ogama, I don't know anybody down there. So I reached out to the people in the political office down there and asked for some suggestions. I don't even know who to ask.
So if by them collating interested candidates and presenting it to you, that's how.
Absolutely.
I think it might be worth it just to run it by the mayor and let him know, because she does have a good point. Like if I have all these people who are contacting me for forms and then Chuck just decides to appoint someone before we've even stopped, then that's the only hiccup that I'm seeing, because
Well, the idea of this,
don't think that he would. I mean, I think he would wait for us, but I think that we should, maybe send a copy of this if this is what we're going to use, then send it to make it official. I know you're sitting right there, but send it to Brian and send it to Jeff and say, this is how we are planning on helping you do this. Does this sound good? Would you rather we do it a different way? Are you willing to follow our timeline? Like, just.
we don't have to ask them if they're willing to follow the timeline at all. I mean, the idea we were talking about last month was, let's put together what seems to be the best, most concise policy that we can.
Sure.
And then once in talking about all these different points, we cull it down as best we can. And then once we've done that, without taking any formal position on anything, just say, here, county board chair, mayor, here's what we're talking about. Does this look like something that you'd be interested in doing? And they could, you could say no. Mayor could say no. Would you like to make any suggestions to it, or do you just want to do a completely different thing on your own?
Just potential candidates.
Do you want a questionnaire that anybody's filled out or no?
Necessary.
As to why or not really?
In the past, I've never really thought about it. I guess a small, a short form questionnaire would be a good thing.
Okay.
But I don't want to get it too extensive, if at all, because then you're going to lose interest. People aren't going to want to bother with it.
So maybe just stick with page 22.
Well, I remember filling out. I think I had to do those 2 questions.
The last time that we had the county employee for Phillips, this is the form without those added 2 sentences. Like I literally went in and found it and
I
said,
don't
okay.
believe I ever. I just asked if I would do it.
Well, but at the
you were
time, you were the county board appointee,
Right.
and then you became the county board chair.
Right, so that is true.
Yep.
So Alan saw these. You're right. You didn't see them, Alan.
And worst case scenario, we get a lot of interest in the position, and even if they're filled before we get our list to them, we have a starting point for the next time there's an opening. We have a springboard. Right. So there is that ongoing list. So, because that's kind of how Annie became involved this time, as I understand, as she previously expressed interest, so we were aware of her, and that's how she moved forward.
So am I keeping these then? Because I did not keep them in the past, and I would not rely upon the.
Yeah.
Gosh, my brain is not working. I would not rely upon the county or the city to keep on these forms.
No.
So do you want me to then?
Would it just be put their names in a spreadsheet type? I mean,
And then we have them refill out the form
Yeah.
when they.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think.
because they probably there's
Okay.
They could have moved.
There's an opening, you can contact them and see if they're still interested.
Right.
I mean,
So there's really no set timeline in here.
No.
Well,
I
it's
see.
it's at least a month, because it gets announced at one meeting and then a month later, everything's compiled and shown to the board before we throw it in.
That-
So I mean, it's at least a meeting cycle, I guess, you know, if we meet a week later.
Well, but Brian or Chuck do not have to wait a month. They can
Correct.
just,
That's true.
so it seems weird to have a complicated policy for something you have no control. I mean,
That's what I was thinking as well. That's what I'm just trying to say. It just doesn't make any sense, the timeline.
So I guess the thing is, I'm sorry, number five.
What's it?
Item 5 is where we said, well, show us the list, but realistically, the list could be sent to the appointer anytime
Right.
after the deadline that expressed, set by the director in step 4.
And if it takes 30 days, so what?
I mean, so-
You're not having
We
any
just wanted
issues
to
with
see it.
form.
Yeah,
That's why it's written like.
Yeah, we did wanna
When I
see
did
it.
my
Right, but does it have to go to us before it goes to?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It wouldn't have.
Oh,
Well, but I think,
Oh,
So I guess number 6 can be readjusted to say that, you know,
but don't we wanna see it here first before it gets sent off?
why?
Well, the reason being was, for example, I knew 2 people who were interested in this open position. But like, there was no way of knowing, like, I'm like, did you call the mayor? Yeah, but he's not calling me back. No, so there was no way to know like that their interest was passed through. So that was just, I think that was, at least from my understanding, that was our goal here, is just to make sure that, hey, everyone we knew who was interested is getting a fair shot with their name on the
Well, we
list.
could be copied with when the list goes into the mayor and the county board chair, and if we
Sure.
know that, hey, Sally was interested or Steve was interested and they're not on this list, then contact the director and.
Right. I
Sure.
mean, so there was, because for what I recall from last month, there was 2 points that we wanted. We wanted to make sure that the library board was notified before the public started to get notified. So step 1 would be as if we're notified of the vacancy in email, that's resolved. Step 2 was we wanted to give time for anyone to apply to it, and how that time frame is, I see you have it set by, timeline is based off of what the director sets. So if you say, oh, I think 2 weeks is enough, okay, so I think the step 3 can start as soon as the board is notified by email. It doesn't have to, I don't think it has to wait for official notice.
So you don't,
Number 2, I mean,
okay,
I don't think so. Why do we?
no, that
If
makes
we've
sense.
already
to me.
informed,
That
Wait,
makes sense.
if we're already informed in email,
Sure,
I guess,
Right.
right, the
Yeah.
whole point is we want to make sure that we're informed.
so that people can start
Upfront.
contacting me and giving me their.
And I mean, it was just so that, hey, you know, I mean, I think the example I said is, well, not that it happened, but it's like somebody out in the public says, oh, I hear you're looking for, like, who resigned, right? So that was, I think, our first takeaway we wanted. And the
Right.
second one is we wanted to leave a little bit of time, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, month, whatever. And you leave it, and it left up to the director, which I think is good, is for they have to apply. Everything else is, you know, is.
well, the board would just like more
I mean-
transparent awareness. When it comes down to filtering, the only filtering is done by the county board chair or the mayor.
Right,
Mhm.
right, is all this, yeah, I mean, all the applications would go into the director, and the director would then send that to.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so,
And I should comment on something that came up last month from Becky. You mentioned that, like in the mayor's case, he really, if everybody would agree to one, great. If not, he wanted your recommendation.
Right.
This doesn't stop that.
Right,
Okay, you can certainly tell the mayor, here's 10 names that people have applied, I'm recommending Sally. Okay, and I guess I would sure like as a board member to say, I think it would be nice if you told the rest of us who you were recommending. But regardless, that is what it is, but at least just knowing, here's a list of people that went to the mayor or went to the county board chair. If one or the other of us want to make a comment to the county board chair or to the mayor, there's nothing to stop us from that.
Sure.
And, I'm not, but that way, at least you got a list of names that are gone off. So whether it's Brian or Chuck, whoever, they've at least got a starting point of, okay, here's the people, here's their phone number. And if they filled out a little 2-question questionnaire, here's what they said.
I think the goal is to try to avoid first come, first serve. If you show up, if I called Brian first, Brian, I got my best friend, Brian, can you point them? You know, there's time for other people to come forward
Right.
and equal opportunity for the others. So.
What do you guys want me to do with this? I can get rid of number 2. What else do you want?
So I guess, yeah, I mean.
We're getting rid of,
Or like number 2 is just part of your director's report.
Well, yeah, 2 still should be announced at the meeting.
Doesn't need to be a necessary agenda item if there's no business. It can be
No.
just part of the director's report.
Yeah, just announced.
okay.
Can't we just do this and just say that whenever that notice goes out to all the board members by email?
Yeah, do we really have to announce it at the next meeting?
Well, I mean, you ought to mention it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's just like you haven't officially mentioned that Jody was gone until somebody asked you. Okay, there hasn't been anything official in anything at a board meeting that Jody was leaving until you just mentioned, oh, well, her party is on Monday. That's not anything bad, I'm just saying.
Sure, because I didn't know until after the
Right,
last
right,
board.
There's nothing wrong with that, but that's just one of those things, just say, okay, well, there's a board opening. Okay, fine, but we've already been told by email.
So
and
that
we
tells
just
the
kinda-
public.
Yeah, and, but that way it's to the extent that anybody else cares, the public is then officially advised, well, it was at a meeting. Okay, fine. And maybe you can set it up that you've got 3 weeks from the time you send out the email or whoever sends out the email, or 2 weeks or something, just so that you tell everybody how long people have to try and get names in.
Okay.
If we just say like a
Well,
minimum
actually,
of 2 weeks, because sometimes it takes a while to find a board. So you probably don't want to put an end cap.
8 and 24 hours. Not as hard as it used to be, but I really do want to point that out. Like, there were a lot of people, and there are people who have been interested since we appointed the extra 2 on the county who are still chomping at the bit wanting to be on my board. So, yeah.
That's fine.
I'm still not sure what you guys want me to do with this. What you want? Do you want me? Can we just leave it? Is it?
To me, it just sounds like all we're asking for is transparency to understand who's expressing interest. And so my question about this procedure is, it just seems a very overcomplicated way to get that. Like, really, if the vacancy is notified and announced, at that point, the expression of interest starts to come the submission of funds or the forms. And then it's just a matter of starting to compile a list and put that into either an email to the board, right? Does it have to even go through an agenda?
No, that's what we we're just saying. There's no reason it has to.
So really, all anyone is asking for is just a list. So I think this is just an overcomplicated procedure for asking for transparency of who is expressing interest. So stick with number 1, stick with number 2. And then from there, it's just compile a list of people who express interest within those 2 weeks and send it out to the board.
That's kind of how I
And the
feel.
appointing authorities.
Right.
It's a lot for something that we have zero control over. Like,
Yeah.
Sure.
it was like, this was a very long conversation for something we have nothing to do with in the very end.
But I think it will, I
But
think
the
it will
key is
go along.
Yeah, right. Where I'm not going to reiterate everything again. I don't think we need to do that where we heard the entire thing. No, for sure. I get what Annie's saying. I get what you're saying. Transparency. But yes, this seemed like a lot for us.
And
to
I'm
just-
getting rid of. Is there anything else you want us to know about you?
Make sure you don't use recommendations.
No, I already changed that.
Well, keeping it to one
Good
sheet
job.
of paper seems like a
Yeah.
great-
Is there a way we can just consolidate like the name address section a little bit more? So because right now, if you throw a signature on line 1, there's 1 line to fill out. If we get rid of all of page 2, are you getting rid of page 2? Is that why I saw you scratch out, Becky?
I'm getting rid of. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about you? Yeah. All right. Let me take it back, and I'll bring it back next month. And it should be like a 3-minute conversation. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Right. So since I'm taking notes, no action
change the font
tonight, and it'll
size.
be on next month's agenda.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Number 1, we're gonna change notify the library. Notify the library board president, or
Yes.
we are gonna change that.
Yes.
And then the president will inform the full library board.
And
It should be, so now that the president's doing, it'll be
Right,
informed
and the-
the director.
And the appointing.
and appointing authority.
All right. Well, but it looked pretty, right, everyone?
Beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, so no action tonight. We'll take a peek at it next time.
Okay.
Okay, so discussion action on library display policy, which begins on page 24.
And this one, I actually,
lot.
yes, and well, I wanted it to be enough. I wanted it to cover everything. And I did actually have Iflis look this one over because it was so much. But this covers, if somebody has a problem with something they see on our bulletin board or our displays, it gives them the sheet to submit if they're upset about something, which is great. And it covers the bulletin board and the display spaces and the displays put up by the library in addition to the displays put up by the public. So, and I definitely did not reinvent the wheel. So this has been used at other parts of it, have been used by other libraries and other places successfully.
So there's one thing that, a question I have.
Yeah.
So under policy 2A, item 7, the following materials will not be accepted.
Yep.
And then you've got specific items listed, but in all of the other sections, the last item just says that displays must not include the content that is discriminatory or harassing as defined under applicable federal, state, local laws, or that advocates such discrimination. So I guess that text wasn't used.
I just took out the parentheses because you've already seen it once. So the thought is that it means the exact same thing.
Okay.
You can put them back in if you want, but it's literally just the content within the parentheses. So since you've already seen everything that entails, that's why, Joe, just to keep it so I'm not writing everything all over again.
Because it starts with the word displays and that doesn't say the word display.
Yes.
So
So that literally is the only difference. It means the exact
I was
same.
reading on my computer screen. I'm gonna blame that. I'm not bad eyesight.
And I did think about leaving it there. It just seemed like so much.
Yeah, I agree.
See previous.
Yeah.
And then I guess if that's defined by federal, so it doesn't say federal state laws in the 7C there.
Well, that's true.
So
Because I missed
Yeah,
that part.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, yeah.
They worded a little bit different.
A little bit different.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess instead of listing out everything that you have under 7C,
Yeah.
maybe just use the simpler language that's listed under the other items. Is that?
So just don't even list it once so that people can
I
see
don't
it
know.
once.
Is that needed?
I think listing it, I'll defer to the other attorneys, but I would say sometimes you try to define it, but then you have that definitive term that you use throughout the rest.
Right.
It can't hurt. I would rather have too much than not enough.
For what it's worth, as a non-attorney, I agree with you.
When I was reading through this, I had highlighted all kinds of stuff. And I guess my base question is, are we in favor of having advocacy information on the displays or not? Because this language will allow you to have different types of advocacy. We can put on Rainbow Coalition, we can put on Right to Life, we can put on, and do we want that stuff? I mean, I guess I'm really just asking from a personal perspective. An awful lot of this stuff we're gonna get into, I'm gonna say, pushing an agenda. Or could, not necessarily will, but could. And I'm wondering, as much as I have my own set of agendas I'd like to push, but I don't think the library display wall or case or the top of the thing is the place for that. And I think it's going to be awfully tough to cull through this. You can have what's the ladies' protection place here? Embrace. There are people that are very opposed to a part of Embrace's advocacy. And so you could have an argument about that. The idea that it's simply local nonprofit, well, okay. There's all sorts of groups that qualify with 501c3 nonprofit status, but are advocacy groups. And it kind of seems to me like in the library, like, wildlife organization or history association or school displays, what's a school teacher want to be bringing in for the artwork from the kids or something like that, as opposed to some of these things that are advocating for a particular position. And it's awfully hard to put stuff up, whether on a board or in the display, from an organization that is an advocacy organization, if and attempt to do it without advocating a position. Can Planned Parenthood put something up? Can Right to Life put something up? They'd be local, well, they're national, but they're also nonprofit organizations, presumably. I don't know about Planned Parenthood, but I mean, I guess that's my point. I'm not trying to.
I think it's important that the library has space for, I mean, especially, like the health department does stuff at the library, and like Head Start does displays at the library. I think that's important. We've done displays for Embrace twice a year for the last 10 years. And I think that, those are for specific months that are recognized as such on a national level. And I think that the library should be allowed to, I think I should be able to put up a Black History Month display. I think that we should be able to put up a Pride display. I don't see, most of the libraries in the system are doing those things. I don't think that we do not do those. And I know I read this through and then I sent it to IFLIS because I had no idea what in the world any of this could be taken as. And yeah, you could probably twist this around and use it in a way, but it does somewhere say that we have full control over what's going up there. And so, if we see something, this group seemed to be not totally opposed to well, when I see it, I know it, or if I see it, when I don't want to limit us to the point where we can't put anything up. And I think our local nonprofits like to be able to use the library space. Like they don't have their own space and we get so much more foot traffic. I love the relationship that I have with the health department. I don't want to tell them that they can't come in. We post everything for all of the local churches. We post all of their pancake breakfasts. We post all of their things as well. Like we're not allowing those groups to come into the library either.
So I'm just saying, like if a church wanted to come in and I know there's a local Respect Life group, they want to come in and put up one of their anti-abortion displays. Is that something that would be considered advocacy? Is that it's not informational, it's advocacy?
Right.
Is that something that
I guess I don't think it's advocating for discrimination. I think this protects the library in the way that we don't stand for it. I guess it does say display areas are not intended to serve as platforms for advocating or promoting one belief, cause, or agenda over another. I suppose I don't see Black History Month as that. I don't see it as a Pride display as falling under that. I suppose maybe a pro-life display would fall under that, but at the same time, I'm not putting up a pro-choice display either. So, I know that there's a fuzzy line maybe for some people on those, but
my take as I was reading through all of the first basic 2 full pages of it was that it was way more thorough than I expected, but I understood why, as third of the policy,
right,
be comprehensive. My concern came when I came down to the very end, and I think it's just 2 small wording tweaks at the bottom of page 25, where it says that Phillips Public Library endorses these other things. I'm not sure that endorses is my favorite word there. I'd rather see it something like appreciates or takes into consideration. And then again, at the top of page 26, library staff use the following criteria. I would like to see consider the following criteria, because those are the 2 places that bend this policy away from groups that would traditionally not hold the same values or beliefs as the ALA, for example, like the Respect Life group, because it could be applied and discriminate against groups that are more conservative and less left-leaning in their values. So
I
if
just
we
want to,
just those two words, I think then it reads like the first part of it reads as really trying to make everything as inclusive and across the board as possible, if we can adjust those two words.
this is Annie again. I kind of want to jump in here because I was reading the ALA Bill of Rights today and the freedom to read and the freedom to view because I'm new and so I'm trying to just catch up, right? And I guess I'm really confused. I don't see that the way that I understand those policies is yes, we should not be censoring any stance. So if someone from the Right to Life wants to put up a presentation of some sort, they can. If somebody wants to put up a LGBT thing, they can. There's really the idea of the library is to have everybody's voice be heard and have an introduction to all sorts of ideas, whether we agree with them or we don't. And so I guess I'm thinking we're kind of making this bigger than it has to be. We have a policy here that allows us to make sure that all voices are heard on all sides, and that's important. So it feels like sometimes we're filtering in sort of some bias in the last conversation and this one as to where people have to stand because of how they view the world. And I think if we recenter our thoughts should be about the library being open to all sorts of ideas and all sorts of people having access to knowledge. So if you look at this policy in that lens, it seems to cover everything that we need. And maybe I'm misunderstanding the ALA, but it sounds like it's for everybody and every viewpoint from what I can see. Plus, there's an appeal process here. So if there is an issue, it seems like then we have that covered as well. If someone has a lot of concern about a certain topic that's proposed to be displayed, then there's an appeal process.
One of the things I think I would see appealed was, and I'm not saying it, I don't know how to modify it, but there was a couple places where it says either under, first one I'm seeing here is under on page 25 B1(5), either the library or exhibitor may discontinue display at any time for any reason. And I understand why that's there. At the same token, if a display starts and then gets taken down prior to its ending date, I would expect any group would be shouting that something was not correct for any reason. So I just, and I know that's what the library is here for, is to display ideas. But again, I think there is no policy.
Right.
So the thought is to give us some guidance to stand on if people do object. So this is at this point preemptive. It's better to have something to start with than come in after the fact. But I look at too, if you think about nonprofits and displays, I'm a part of a couple nonprofits and we have fundraisers. Do I get to fund, at what point is it informational versus advertising versus advocacy? So we limit the bulletin board for not for sale, wanted, etc., but none of the other ones say anything about limiting.
Oh, that I would agree with. We should be limiting fundraising everywhere. We should not be fundraising for any other nonprofit group within the library.
So, and so that was just, something that I wasn't throughout.
If they have an event.
But they have, so like
Right.
the Phillips Flurry, we have our snowshoe race coming up. Could I ask for a display case, but put like, hey, scan here to register? Where does it cross the line of fundraising or raising money?
I mean, as long as we're not actually accepting money on site, I think would be the line.
Okay. Go ahead, Mark.
I was just gonna say, this is a city-owned building,
Mhm.
and I think we should have Bryce look at this. Bruce, maybe you guys could look at
Right,
it
right.
before we talk about this any further and get his input. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
That's my opinion. Otherwise, we're just keep talking all day about this. You know, what if the Nazis won? So what if the Nazis are having a pancake breakfast? Was that qualified for to be a poster or whatever, you know, it's.
But if they invite everybody, they're not discriminating.
Only want some people to be live, but it's fine.
Everyone may not go, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't probably allow, but. And I think, you know, and I love the idea of Bryce looking at it or somebody with
Brown and all.
who would be the one who ultimately would have to quote defend it. You know, I think some of the other considerations maybe to address, you know, for example, on page 25, sub 3, you know, these spaces are reserved for. Do we want to say in order of priority?
Oh,
So
sure.
like the library gets to go first. You know, we get to go first. You know, and then the co-sponsored displays, again, I think those co-sponsored displays again would match everything else that we've been talking about, but. So like if the city wants to do a Winterfest type thing. The bulletin board too, I know I got this random notes here. We had talked last time when there was a request for a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
I know we had some language we came up with and I can't recall what we said. It was worded so nicely after we had that meeting about limiting it to.
Well, they're restricted to local nonprofit organization.
Mhm.
And I think that gets rid of most of your GoFundMe's. Because
Okay.
most of those are not coming from nonprofit organizations.
Okay.
And I guess if a nonprofit really was doing a GoFundMe, I don't know that I wouldn't be okay with that being on the bulletin board, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, that's how they decided to raise their money.
Okay. So just by keeping it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that. Okay. So nonprofits who are advertising fundraisers, are okay on the bulletin board.
Yes.
Once
I
they're,
mean, that's mostly what it is. It's
Right.
pancake breakfasts and
Spaghetti.
sales and, yeah.
you guys are making me hungry.
I'm sorry.
I know, we keep talking about food.
Becky, do you think, because this is, think healthy, will, with the display case and with the bulletin board, will there be a message that the library does not endorse or promote any message?
That probably would be a good thing to put just a little
Yeah.
display line someplace on the bottom or the top or somewhere. Just say, hey, this
Yeah.
is, unless it's from the library,
Right.
library's not endorsing this.
Well, that's
One
what
or the
you,
other.
you have the right.
It's in the policy.
Yeah.
It's in the policy.
Third paragraph of the purpose says that. So yeah, putting that on display.
Sure.
And really, it could be just a small thing, but
Like a T
when
one
there's,
has clear labels.
we don't want to appear to be endorsing a political position
Right.
as a
Right.
public entity.
So several of the political groups have nonprofit subgroups. You know, are they allowed to put up displays, vote for my candidate?
This says no.
I don't
Some
think we've ever
recall
done
seeing-
candidate.
I don't
Do we?
recall seeing politics and candidates is in here, so I could have missed it. So like if there is a political action committee and and they get a nonprofit version, can they say vote for my candidate? I think
So
just trying to put up
even
things in
with
a
that,
message.
I think even with that disclaimer on the display, it's not endorsed by the library, it would very much appear as though the library was endorsing a candidate.
right.
Like a blatantly political thing, I guess.
So that's what I'm just saying. I don't, and then, you know,
So we can't have Christy for mayor.
yeah.
Maybe it isn't-
I'm gonna
just-
disassemble that display, I guess.
Hey, disassemble it.
But what I just don't want to see is like this political group this month, the next one the next month, and they're going back and forth,
I don't
snarky
think we've
comments
done
back
that
and
so far,
forth.
have we? The thing thus far?
I don't think
Okay.
it has.
Perfect. Then I would like to not encourage that.
Just jumping in, sorry, guys, that like the part of that I think we're losing is it's an educational piece, right? So like if it's a politics thing where someone wants to have a candidate out there, it's not that there gets to be a viewpoint of one candidate, it's like all candidates, because it's our civic duty to vote and get out there and do that. And so to understand who everybody is. And I think that about some of these displays, is there a way to put in something maybe beyond a disclaimer, like someone put something up about the fascist party or something, and then someone else can provide some context for history, or do you know what I'm saying? Like, can there not just be, is it just that one entity gets to have the display and no other opinion contradicts that?
Thought we were giving this to Bryce.
Well,
I say just no politics.
Well, what we don't want this to be is, what are those things those forums where you go online and you make snarky comments back and forth. I don't think.
Any social media platform.
Yeah. So I think, if someone posts something that anybody is opposed to, do you have the right to respond? I mean, kind of yes, but then I think we're putting Becky in a really tough spot of, Becky, let me butt in line, put my display before the next person's display, because I want to reply to the last display.
That's a waste of her energy.
I think it's a waste. Yeah, I think it's a waste of her time and energy to babysit the back and forth. So, but again, I just didn't see politics. I didn't see candidates. I didn't see anything in there.
Oh, I think it was in one of the policies that I was taking this.
Okay, so
I didn't make it.
that just caught my
over.
attention as something to discuss.
Can I make a
Maybe
suggestion?
for purpose, we could just insert the display areas are not intended to serve as platforms for advocating any particular candidate or for promoting one belief.
Political party too.
It's the materials that are pornographic and political in nature.
Not corner politics, perfect, and or.
Maybe.
Or. Perfect. I like it.
But it
Well, you've got my attention.
would be nice to be able to put up a display on like where to vote and how to vote and who's up for.
I feel like
an
that's
election.
completely educational.
When the
So
when the mayor race
informational.
comes up, right?
You're gonna put a sample
Yes.
ballot up, I think that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's like-
But I think if you're one step beyond a sample ballot, I think you're stepping into a dangerous area.
Why provide a
Make the
service?
suggestion, so we don't sit here for an hour and a half more.
Exactly, I'm like.
Why don't we each just, if we have some thoughts on this, why don't we just each email to Becky? Don't email to each other, don't copy each other, so we don't have a walking.
Don't
forum.
reply all.
But if we've got some thoughts on this and from whatever direction, whether it's just revision of this little policy there or totally different idea, let's shoot it to Becky. We're not in a hurry for this. I mean, we don't have to have this adopted next month or something.
Hasn't been an issue thus far, has it?
No.
Good. That's what I like to
Aside from
hear.
People every once in a while posting their GoFundMes, which we just take down.
Oh, yeah, right. Well,
I didn't hear you, sorry.
Except for people posting their GoFundMes, which we just
Oh,
take
okay.
down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the place.
And that's because nobody actually asks us if they can put things on the board. So once we
Yeah, there
go
are people
out-
that will do that. Just pin it there.
Jenny does. I guess that's.
I think you're excelling.
Is there an incident that
No.
triggered this or?
At the last month, she was going through her director's report. Staff
Yeah,
reports,
and we said that
And
Embrace
maybe-
had a display.
And so I just asked if there was a policy and she said no, and so we thought maybe being proactive.
Or just based on that discussion last.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Personal, personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked about the bulletin board before. And I think you guys made a motion about the bulletin board before.
That's what I
We've just
recall.
never put anything in writing as a
Yeah.
policy.
About,
because it's finished
about
the
the
minimal.
GoFundMe
Yeah.
portion of the bulletin board in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, trying to find that.
All right, sounds good. So any further discussion? No. So
No.
your suggestions or questions, please email Becky directly. She will collate, make adjustments. Please
Send it
send
to
out
Bryce.
before you send it to Bryce, just shoot us all an email and let us check and say, yeah, that's what I had in mind. Good to go.
Okay.
Just make sure you only answer Becky, not the whole board when that
Yeah.
happens, please. And then she'll get that to Bryce and it's off our table until he says, what are you doing?
Speaking of emails, Jenny, you would be surprised how many I get from you telling me you need money.
Oh my gosh.
I do.
I have not
Dying
Send any of the treasurer's money either.
I was like, no. Every time. I'm like, oh, get a life.
We have 4 emails.
Yeah.
So you
It
know
doesn't
it's
matter
not-
where it comes from. Like, it's just
Okay.
ridiculous.
Moving on to number 4, discussion action on open library positions. And this is somewhat in conjunction with the budget, but not entirely, which is why it's on there first. We have a unique opportunity at the moment because we have a full third of our staff leaving the library through retirement or moving on to other positions. So we are in a position as a board, we do not direct Becky whom to hire. We do, however, help shape job positions and allocate money in the budget to pay those positions. That is where our role is in the whole hiring and that part of the process. So we just have an opportunity to look at things and decide if this is something we want to tweak as far as job openings and positions go, or if we are happy with where they are. And that's why it's on the agenda.
Okay, so this is what I want to say about this. And this is going to sound like it doesn't have anything to do with it, but I promise it does. And so last year, the county approved an increase in budget. So now we are getting reimbursed at 80%. So this year we are getting reimbursed at 80% of the 70% that we had 2 years ago. And then next year we are again getting reimbursed at 80% of the 70%. And if you look at your budget that I sent you, you can see that in 2024, our budget was way down because that was the last time the county gave us 70% of 70. So that is why the 2026 budget looks so lean. So in 2027, we should see an increase because for the first time, we will be getting 80% of 80. And the reason, and Shelby fixed the health insurance for whoever didn't see that email.
I did see it.
Yay!
That sounds fantastic.
When you said 0%, I was like, nice.
So there's a 0% increase at most in the health insurance for next year. We might actually have some savings.
Yeah, like you could get money.
Application.
So here's where all this is going. I am really excited for the first time in like a long time about what's happening at the library right now. People are reacting to Linda really, really well. We have a homeschool group coming through again. We are doing a ton of programming. I know that it's not showing up in CERC yet. I know that, but I really want the chance to keep this momentum going. I think if I hire two really great people to cover these positions, it will be amazing. I need to fill the full-time position. I need a full-time front desk person. Jody is currently running all of my adult programming, and that is what I would expect from the person coming in to do that. Part of the reason why filling Vale's position becomes so important, Ben, is that gives Jody time off the desk to do that programming part of that job. And all I have heard for the past 3 years is, I need more time off the desk so I can do this. I need more time off the desk so I can do this. And the people who supply her that time are Vale and Susan. So in my opinion, especially with this news from Shelby, there is no reason to cut one of these positions next year. Like the budget is not in dire straits. And again, the budget in 2027 should look a heck of a lot healthier than this. I know that the way that it sits in front of you right now, my wages and personnel or whatever do make up about 77% of the budget. We should be aiming for about 70%. I think that increase from the county next year is going to almost automatically make it so that in 2027 we are closer to that 70% instead of 77%. And John Thompson did say, there are libraries who are funding it where it's 90% personnel. It just depends on what you're doing and what you care about. So I don't want you guys to think that I don't ever think about this, because I think about this every time someone leaves the library. Like, do we close early now on Friday nights? Do I not fill this part-time position? Do I not need full-time there? When Jesse left, we cut that job in Evelyn's office from 30 hours down to 20 hours, which is why Evelyn doesn't really have time to cover a desk shift right now. She does all of my social media and all of our website. Right now, she's making sure that our website is accessible at every level ever. She's amazing. So I really want to see what I can do with this the way that it is. Susan has maybe 2 years left. Like she's told us, this is not being like, I'm getting rid of her. After This is true thing. I want to work for 2 years. There's a couple more things she wants to pay off, but I mean, she's there. She's at that threshold. So we will have this opportunity again sooner rather than later, because I know that this doesn't happen often. Like, you know, that's just, there are not a lot of people leave, but we do have an opportunity now to let this momentum keep going and revisit this when Susan leaves. I do think about Friday nights an awful lot because nobody else is open full on Fridays. Right now, for whatever reason, that is the night that the teens want to do all of their programming. So I really do not want to close the library early on Friday nights right now. And programming while the library is closed is not impossible, but there isn't a way to lock anybody in that community room because of the back door in the back. And if the library isn't open, we really don't want anybody running around the library. So as of right now, we do not do programming if the library is not open, unless we're doing it somewhere else, obviously. Like, you know, we could do a Saturday afternoon over here. Yay. So I really have thought about all this. I mean, I was going to advocate for this before Shelby said, hey, 0% insurance. Now that Shelby said 0% insurance, great. Bruce had brought up the idea of using some of the money that we might save from cutting a position to do our capital improvement projects. If we use operating money for capital improvements, that amount of money is shaved off of the top of the county.
The part that gets used as the basis.
Yes, the part that gets used as the basis. So that would affect our county funding, and I really don't want to do that. So there's a couple intricacies there with what we do with the overages and underages, and I'll talk to the finance committee about that because I'm still kind of pounding it through John Thompson. But I mean, at this point, cutting a position from Vail, again, especially without the insurance increase, I don't have room on my shelves for my books right now. I mean, I'm hoping that this momentum is going to mean more circulation. And if it does, and there's more stuff off my shelves, then we can think about improving the book budgets. I don't think it's worth it right now. We had increased the programming for this year, and we have $1,000 left in programming right now. I don't want to cut that budget. I think we were all a little scared of overspending it because this is the first time that we've had that much money in that account. So I don't want to overspend it, but I definitely don't think that we need to throw more in there for 2026. I did misspeak in my email to you guys that was so excited about the health insurance. I forgot to put the capital expenditure back in there at $2,000. So the shortfall was actually 2,500, not 500, which makes way more sense now that I think about it. I don't know why I thought that a 2% raise would get us only 5% or $500. If we wanted to put capital expense back in there, there are other places where we could shave from that. I mean, I'm okay with not leaving it there, especially if we get it to the point where the city's going to let us keep a small amount of underage anyway.
But let's keep to the discussion of.
Sorry. It goes into this so quick. So yeah, I would love to have the chance to hire 2 absolutely fantastic people they're going to walk in the library. They're going to see these faces. Really, you guys, everything is going in the right direction.
Have you had any applications yet?
So many applications.
Okay.
So many great applications.
I have both positions.
Both positions. I know. I was worried about Val's position, and when the full position opened up, I emailed everybody that had applied for the part-time position and said, I have a full-time position. If you want to be considered for both, you don't have to reapply, because I felt bad because it was like a week and a half later. And I had 3 out of the 4 people who had applied at that point say, no, I want the part-time. I don't want the full-time. So I'm not having trouble filling it.
One of the things that I was thinking when I saw this on the agenda, I had two items popped into my mind. One is that you're advertising a position at the top dollar that Jody's leaving at. And well, that I'll just comment on the 2. That was one thing. The other thing I was wondering about, our current circulation is give or take like 40,000 something like that.
I don't know that off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
And well, I know that the circulation used to be 60 to 70,000.
Okay.
And it just strikes me that we've got the same size staff basically that we had when we had a lot more circulation. And I maybe I'm just being too old fashioned. I mean, I'm thinking more in terms of books and whatnot and physical things that you had to check out and that. But it seemed like our circulation's down a lot and not just because of COVID, just changes in how the library's going and whatever. And it just struck me as, wow, is there a possibility? I know in my law office, we've changed things dramatically. Now technology has changed a lot, and we have a lot fewer people working in a law office than we did 20 years ago. And so that's when I saw this as an item on the agenda, at least I want to toss it out there for consideration. And whether that is relevant for this, I don't know, but at least I wanted you to consider it.
I would counter that just a little bit, Bruce, with the thought of event planning and how much time and energy and effort actually goes into that. I think a lot of times people think it's just almost effortless because it's actually fun and people can kind of just quote show up, but there's so much involved with that. So I would lean towards still needing the number of hours of staff time because the point of the library is changing just a little bit. Its circulation obviously is important, and that drives, the money coming in, but getting people in the doors is becoming more and more important, and it's serving a greater need in the community to be able to do that. So I like the idea of keeping the library fully staffed and really leveraging that opportunity.
Where I'm struggling with is getting people in the door. I can agree with that, but I'm seeing more and more programming being outside of the four walls of our library. Like, I think it's great that Linda's going up to the school, but if that's 2 hours a week, she could be covering the front desk. If I look at it from a business, if I were owning this business and she was an employee, that would be a waste of my money. There's no return on investment.
I would have to disagree, Christy.
And I realize the city has a different role. We fill different roles. This isn't a business, but if we're looking at increasing that circ, I would love to see more. Right now, we're putting 13% of our money towards products to circ. That's a really low number in my mind. I know you like your shelves half full. I love them full, just to go through, because people can't check out if there isn't something there. And I know when I was looking back through my notes, just since I've been on the board, we've gone down 20% in the number of items on our shelves. Plus 20% less items people can check out. So I would love to see, and again, this comes back some to the positions, but like, could Evelyn or that role, could she switch her hours to one of the evenings?
And get everything that she's doing done in that office right now. I don't know why everybody's picking on Evelyn. I don't know if somebody whispered to you that. I'm sorry, maybe it's not just you, but I guess I've been. Well, it's been mentioned a couple other places, and I don't know. Like I said, we've already trimmed that position down from 30 to 20 hours a week, and she's doing all of my online and all of my advertising, and I don't know. I mean, no, she can't get everything done and do at least not the 2 nights a week.
Well, maybe, and that's what I'm thinking. Can we shift? Can she do one? Can Linda come in late one night and work late one night? I've been in there several times. I come in about 5:45, 6 o'clock. The one time it was 3 of us, my daughter and I and Will. We were the only ones there for the last hour and 15 minutes the whole night. So there's quieter times that maybe if people could fill in then. I'll throw another idea out because when I was looking at the old numbers with the old health budget numbers, my understanding is full-time for city for benefits is 30 hours a week. Speaking,
Yes.
I did verify.
Yeah.
It's 30 hours a week, and for both insurance and retirement. Retirement has an oddball one. It's a rolling the last 12 months. Whenever you take a picture, you look at the last 12 months. Health insurance goes by calendar year, but the other one, whatever reason, goes by rolling. And it's 1,560 hours. I checked with Shelby today or yesterday when I saw this on the agenda.
And I know one of your, and I'm jumping ahead. I know one of your goals was to get people cross-trained.
Right.
And that's where I'm looking at it. This is, can we cross-train? Can more people just take some time at the desk?
If they're covering nights at the desk, then that's a night that they can't have a program ever on that night. Like if we're
Can you
talking
clarify
about,
that for me?
like, so if you say, so right now, Vale works Monday and Tuesday nights. So that's what I'm trying to fill. So for the ease of everybody and planning, because I don't want the library to be like a gas station where they get a new schedule every 2 weeks. I understand that we could run it like that. I think that that's a headache, and I don't think that my staff would really love that. So then we would say that, okay, so Evelyn's going to work every Tuesday night, and Linda's going to work every Monday night. So that means that anytime that Linda wanted to have a program on a Monday night, we would be finding someone to fill in, which again isn't great.
So it's scheduling, not programming. No?
Well, because of programming. And I understand what you're saying about programs outside the library, but I heartily disagree. I think that her getting her face out there means that the kids are saying, hey, Mom, the library came to the, to the school today. And the amount of kids that are coming in and seeing her and knowing that she's there. And we do programming in the library whenever we can. But the problem is that I don't have enough space. So if I have over 25 people, I mean, and if we're going to say that programming outside the library doesn't count, then I guess we're saying that I'm not going to do programming because I can't fit more than 15 people in that room anyways. And I love the level that our programming's at.
I want to just piggyback on that. I can't agree more that I think we need to have that outreach. That outreach is incredibly important in drawing people into the library. And I don't understand why we would look at it like a bad business decision. That's marketing. Marketing is everything in terms of getting people to come back to the library and experience it. I guess I'm really concerned about this conversation because I think that programming is a key piece of serving our community. And why would we be looking at cutting back on that in any shape or form, especially when the budget doesn't seem to warrant it at this point? We're not in dire straits. There's really no reason to switch paths at this point that I can see, unless I'm missing something. But I think that programming is actually absolutely key to getting people in the door.
And I think it does too. It reaches a lot of kids, especially whose parents will not bring them to the library. And maybe they'll never check out a book, but they will be exposed to more literacy options and education about unique topics and access to just other people in the community who are also, or, individuals in general, but also trying to make sure that they have a more fulfilling experience and, depending on the programming, healthier life or whatever. The library is not, it is about serving the community. And books are, that's why I joined the library. My kids love books. I love library board. I've been part of the library since I was a kid. All right, let's be honest. But it was the books. I brought him in for the books. I could not get my 13-year-old to check out a book to save my life. And he is a reader, but he's not going to go through the big old struggle of going into the library and checking out books. But programming now, that is of interest. And I'd much rather have him be exposed to, Mark's Bugs or whatever than not do anything at all with the library.
The pay range that I posted for that full-time position is $1,750 to $1,850. I know that it's in this budget as higher than that. I wanted to, if there was somebody that I just really, really wanted to have, I wanted the ability to attract someone great. I'm not gonna lie. That front desk position is the first person that you see when you walk in the door. Again, that is the person that is running all of my adult programming. I need someone in that position that is just outstanding. I didn't even put a firm end at the end of that. This is the first time my entire career where I've said open until filled, because I said to myself, if this is going to take me 3 months to fill it, I want to be able to take 3 months to fill it. So I know with the raise that Jody would have gotten, this does save us $692. I know, but it isn't exactly what she would have been making. And I know that when someone leaves, yes, there is the opportunity to make it up. I do also know that the starting positions for everybody else at the city are $20 an hour. So we're still below what the city's making anyways. When Shelby came back with the health insurance numbers, I did think about throwing a 3% raise instead of a 2% raise in there. I left it as a 2%. I know that Shelby was told by the city council to really prioritize making sure that the city gets a raise this year because apparently they didn't get a raise last year. So I'm comfortable leaving this as a 2% because we did get one last year, and I didn't want to like rub that in the faces of the people. But again, our pay rates compared to the rest of the city, we did try, we increased them quite a bit, and I know the difference between what a police officer risks and what a librarian risks.
Sure.
I get that, I do. And really, if I thought that there was a reason that we need to jump on this opportunity right now, I really have thought about it. But again, we are going to have this opportunity again in like a year and a half, 2 years. I really want to see what the funding from the county is going to look like next year based on that 80% of 80. I want to keep our programming going at the level that it's going at. I really am excited for like the first time, and that's not any of your fault. And some of that is library related and some of it isn't. But like there's a momentum in that building right now that I really don't want to lose. And I know it's hard to feel, and I know that it feels emptier. I'm looking at getting a door counter. I know, but
Well, at least if we're planting the idea that
yeah,
you, in effect, keep your eyes open to some sort of the equivalent of a time study,
sure.
and try to keep your eyes toward whether there are some places where things could be done more efficiently, where somebody could have evening time that they could also be doing their stuff, or maybe we should be looking at hours or whatever. I mean, it may not be at this instant. If you've got these positions that you're going to try and fill right now, it may be that this isn't the exact moment. But it did strike me when I saw this. I thought, wow, well, there are a third of the library staff that's turning over right now.
Right.
And if we're going to have some additional turnover in the next couple of years, maybe over these next couple of years, that's the time to be looking at, okay, when exactly is if we've got a door counter that tells us how many people are coming through at different times, maybe that's where we sort that out in the next year or two. At least
I'll throw this
worthwhile discussion.
I'll throw this out there too. I don't know if it makes sense to not these new people that are coming in, but us as a board to maybe shadow at some point some of the staff and what they go through in a given day. I think having worked at the pool for 10 years, people super discount how much energy and effort goes in behind the scenes because it looks so effortless on the outside. It might not hurt for us to just be involved as a board to understand exactly what a day-to-day looks like for somebody and all the fires that they put out and what it takes, because that might help us make a better decision in the long run too.
Would it be possible to get, not to create more work for you, Becky, but kind of get a bullet list of what a day-to-day looks like for everybody?
Sure.
I will tell you, just having worked in nonprofit and public, it's every single day is different.
Anything with
Every
customer
single
service
day.
is,
It's, this, for instance, at Head Start, parents' vehicle broke down, and also the food pantry is only open on Tuesdays, so they have to get it there. So that's what I'm gonna do for my whole morning and take it out to them. And then, because their kids didn't come to school, I'm gonna, see how they're doing and whatever. I mean, and then that doesn't ever happen again.
Right.
And at the library, the people who work there are effectively social workers. And I wouldn't say that
I
that
was
is
gonna
your
say, there's
license
somebody
title.
who Jody is having to walk
Yeah.
something, and even though you can clearly see she probably has something else to
So
do.
I think maybe where I'm coming from, maybe more broadly. So for example, other libraries use the free program to do their website. We've been paying someone to pre-label or not pre-label. Put the
Cover.
the
So
covers.
Baker's Tally does covering.
Yeah, so covering.
Right.
Cataloging is more of that's done in advance. So I mean, I know that job shift has already shifted some, but it's just, are there other ways we can be more efficient? Maybe there's things that, if you said, hey, because I'll be honest, Becky, and this is not a discredit. I honestly don't know what you do for 8 hours a day. I don't sit there and watch you.
Right.
But if you said, hey, I spend 4 hours a day doing this, I'm like, oh, hey, there's this cool program, I'll take you 20 minutes.
Right.
You know, so I think, you know, that could help as we look at, you know, if there's times where we do need to make some maneuvers, you know, what can be maneuvered, what can't.
Christy, with all due respect, though, wouldn't we leave it to, for example, Becky in that position to understand that, hey, this took 4 hours, but there's another opportunity that could cut that in time in half? Like, I think we support that by making sure she gets to go to conferences where she learns what other people are doing and best practices and things like that. And we trust that our staff is capable of coming up with ways to be more efficient. I mean, right? Instead of
I'll say yes and no.
micromanaging us.
If there's many things I do in my life I'm inefficient at just because of ignorance. I'll call a spade a spade.
Right.
You
For
know-
example, like the website updating, like I deal with websites all the time. So something that seems easy, just like adding or removing like boxes and adjusting templates, like it really, you are in this program doing the editing. What turns into 20 minutes, you are now 2.5 hours in, and you're like, and it's still shifted incorrectly. And then you have to go back. So it really, like these little things, like there is no one else to do them. So you can, like, there is no AI, like the AI can format the website, but it can't do all the updates for you. It can't do all the shifting when it does something wrong. So there are a lot of things that, like you just said, you just don't know how to do. You wouldn't know how to do them. So I would never ask you to do that. Just like I try not to critique a job I know that I can't do. So I'm never coming in your office and gonna be like, I think this is the law, and you're gonna be like, Brittany, no, you really can't park that way in the street.
Like, I don't care what you say. That's what we have to do a lot. Like, I had a client come in and I was struggling with something in procedurally. I was struggling with something procedurally in my office.
Procedurally. Okay.
And I had a client come in, he goes, you know, if you did this, that would fix it? I'm like, no. But you know, and this is not a discredit to you, Becky. I love that you go to seminars and you get educated. I think we all do that professionally.
Sure.
But there's no one who knows it all. So if there's something that, by golly, we could help, I'd love to help. And if not, I'll keep my mouth shut.
Well, and I do want you guys to keep in mind that, you know, I mentioned closing earlier at the grocery store, kind of in passing with the checkout guys that I chat with every time I'm in there, which is like 6 times a week because we don't plan. But anyway, and you know, you say we're thinking about closing early on Fridays. This is a guy that I swear to God, I've never even seen him in the library. And his first reaction was, you cannot close early. Where are the kids going to go to use Wi-Fi and study? So I understand that, like, literally if nobody's coming in, but like, you know, we get grumbles every time we change the library hours. And that's not because people are actually using it during that time. They just like the idea of being able to use it that one night at 6:30 where they decided to want to come into the library. And so again,
This is probably better looking forward
Yes.
to another time.
Just save some of this stuff for when the budget is in such a crisis that.
Well, and it looked like it was.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
So
19% increase looked pretty
Yeah.
good on paper there.
So I did have other things in the back of my head before I talked to Shelby, but now that I've talked to Shelby, little adjustments to this would make me very happy for now. And just let me try to keep this momentum going. It's there.
And let's try to keep that wage more commensurate with a new employee.
Okay.
I can tell you after trying to hire people for you know, associate's degree job for 6 months, this is not enough. And I know it sounds
Not
wild.
advertised as associate needed.
No, I know. It is something that is a specialized position.
But like, and I know I'm probably beating a dead horse, but if you look, like I was on Phillips on their website, like Chautauqua for their front desk, they're advertising at $12 an hour. Another job that was advertised similar to Jody's was less. It's now filled, so I can find it to print it, of course. But it was filled. You look at like the school, it's $15.92 an hour. So
I think for an aide,
That's not
for
bad.
a para.
per pair, yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bilingual and autistic.
Okay, but Avery,
That
which is about our
position
guy,
crazy.
Which is why they don't, they all quit.
It's a
Repeatedly.
salaried position out there, and they're offering 22 to start. So they're offering what they're offering the director up in Park Falls. Which, by the way, if anybody asks, it's amazing that Jody got that job, but that is not enough to get paid for that job, and she should have made more.
I'd like 10%.
It's but so yeah, it's gonna vary.
Yeah.
I think the side of this job that maybe warrants it being a little bit more is the programming part. I mean, if you're hiring someone to just, I mean, obviously, the person that I'm hiring to just sit behind the front desk and just do front desk stuff, we're gonna pay $15 an hour. But for someone that's going to be, coordinating all of my programming and yeah.
It's just like saying that her 12 years of experience don't matter. That's how it feels to me.
Oh, well, that's not how, I'm sorry, that's not how it's supposed to.
Sure.
I just wanted to attract some great people because I have, tried to fill some of these positions in the past and it is hard. So, all right. Anyway,
Ready to move on to the budget?
yeah.
All right.
Oh, we haven't been doing that? I'm really sorry about it.
It's okay. They're both.
I know.
Both number 4.
Oh, and they're both number 4.
Technically, that counts.
Okay, any other discussion or questions regarding the proposed budget?
Is there anything you want to direct our attention to?
I mean, I guess, like I said, I forgot to put the capital expenses back in, so I kind of would like to iron this out with John and iron it out with the finance committee and find out what we can actually use these overage funds on, because it's sounding more and more like if we don't want to affect our county funding, we can only spend them on operating expenses.
I read the Attorney General's opinion that you sent back, and I don't think it says that. I
Okay,
think we're gonna be able, as long as what we're talking about is not slush fund money.
okay,
If we're talking about some slight overage from programming from all of our appropriated budgets from the city and from the
Okay.
county, that it just so happens we got a couple of bucks extra. I don't think that's gonna fall in that category, but I'm not sure of that.
if we want to use it for capital expenditure though, that gets real wonky, and that's in the other statute about the formula.
All right, you two
Right.
lawyers.
So-
Figure this out.
Yeah,
What we're talking about, it's just, there's an issue.
Direction.
There's an issue, and for Annie's benefit too, who hasn't heard some of this. One of these issues that comes up at budget time and at the end of the year, you got those of us that are cheapskates hate this idea of use it or lose it. Okay, that just seems wrong. And there is a difference with a library budget versus any other municipal budget. There's no other budget under the county or the city quite like a library budget. Whether it makes sense or not, I can't really say to that, but it's a fact that we control what's been designated as the budget. All right, and the city can't tell us, the county can't tell us. Once it's been appropriated, here's what you got to do with it. Okay, and which is a unique animal under the statutes of the state. Well, we want to be able to say to the city that, well, we'd like to take, if we come up with $5,000 that we've got left over at the end of the year that was appropriated, we would like to set it toward a capital sinking fund towards our renovation or something like that. And the question is, legally, can we do that? There are prohibitions in the state constitution that say government has to have all monies designated.
yeah.
And that becomes a big issue. Well, there's an attorney general's opinion that seems to say we may be able to do this if it was something that was already properly budgeted and we got a couple of bucks left over. We also have to play politics with the city because other departments say, well, we don't get to do that. Okay. And yet in those other departments, the city council or the county board is completely in control of that.
So when
Whereas-
they need something, they say, we need this, and they get it.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's a half-baked description of what the issue is. And we're gonna try with the finance committee, some information that Becky provided to me from John Thompson. And I'm thinking that we're probably gonna wind up bouncing this off of DPI and the AG's, the Attorney General's office ourselves to get a firm answer and get Bryce in the picture and whatnot as city attorney. I think we may be able to do this if we got a few bucks, okay? Not that if we suddenly said, oh, we're not gonna fill Jody's position, gosh, you got $38,000. I don't think that's probably gonna fly. But if we've got a couple $1,000s left over, rather than suddenly say, well, yeah, let's just buy 2 more computers or something.
Right.
Which isn't the craziest thing in the world. We've done this before. We just make sure that what we're buying at the end of the year is really something we need, not just a way to get rid of the money. And we've done very well as a library board because we have taken it seriously. So anyways, that's the issue. We're gonna try and bounce it around on the finance committee meeting in the next couple of weeks. And by the time we have our next library board meeting, we should have an answer. I would hope for that.
So I guess that's my question. So we needed to make up 2,500 approximately for the 2% raises that are in there. So are you guys okay with not putting anything in the capital expense fund again for 2026 and waiting to see there might be a bigger savings on the health and life insurance, believe it or not, and then any extra money that we got there we could put in that line. You know, until we get this all ironed out, or would you rather see the $2,000 in there and see it moved about from somewhere else? The only lines that I adjusted because the estimates look different were library supplies and maintenance supplies. So the change in those equals $8,000 together, but it looks like we're spending more on maintenance than we are on libraries, so those are adjusted. Barrows is a contract, and I got really sick of seeing it underneath my supplies. So I put it under contract. So that's those were the 2 moves that were done just because of kind of bookkeeping type thing. But then to make up the other $500, I took $500 out of periodicals, and then I took like $50 out of advertising, I think. So I guess that's my question is, do you want any of those moved around differently? I'm not worried about computer supplies so much. We barely ever use it. And there's a computer supply section of our board funds that is supposed to be used when we're doing big projects and stuff anyways. So I thought, you know, for the year, if I need to ask you guys, so just those sorts of questions, I guess, are what I'm wondering. Otherwise, I obviously put the book budgets back where they are. I put the AV back where they were. Yeah.
Well, it seems like are we looking to actually timeline with the city? Do we need to recommend and approve and recommend a budget tonight?
That'd be great.
If we are, it seems to me we've got to do one that's balanced.
Right. So this is balanced,
It
right?
doesn't seem like we can have a shortfall.
Right. So this is balanced right now within $13.58.5. And I usually do that every year until Shelby will run her over $13 and she says, Becky, don't worry about it. So, but that's what that little negative 13,585 is. That's what we're off. We are over by $13.59.
I'll give you 20.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I mean, we could take that out of any line anywhere and it would just be so.
No, I mean, I literally give you the donation too. Book sale.
Oh, and another place where we might be able to put in a little bit of that capital expense fund if we leave it at 0 is I talked to Narvado today and I think I can save us $30 to $40 on internet and phone per month.
Okay.
So
I had that on my list to follow up, but like, I didn't want to distract you from you were.
Yes, so that is.
She's got it right here.
It turns out, yeah, I do. I have it. I have it right here.
I wasn't trying to be nosy. I just there. I got right. She did there.
All of this came through after I'd already sent you the big updated budget, so I did not update the internet. And it's going to look like it's more expensive because the reason that it's less is because it includes our phone and our long distance. So right now we're paying like $80 a month in phone and 15 to 30 in long distance, depending on how many calls we place, because our long distance is still based on actually how much we use. And so what would happen is, our phone and internet would get smushed together, and the whole thing would be approximately $100 to $130 a month. Whereas right now that whole thing is about $180 to $200.
So we're paying $100 a month right now for the internet.
Exactly.
So why don't you just take off the couple of bucks you need to take off that line?
Yeah.
And you're good to go.
And can we take some of the video game money and put that into capital expenses? It looks, according to our bill spreadsheet that we haven't used any of that this year at all.
We're spending it right now. The reason for that is that we weren't sure. Jake used to spend it, and so I kind of forgot to pick it up when he left, and so I thought that Linda was ordering it, and he wasn't. We could, I mean, yes, I'm not a huge fan of video games. If we wanted to slash out to like $700, I think that would be fine. Plus, the video game users out of everybody in the library are the most able to use the computers to request things from other libraries. Not to like pigeonhole them, but they're very true. They're like a lot of the stuff that comes through on the whole shelf is video games, just because people are used to doing it.
Is
Yeah, they're the.
is that those hot checkouts?
They're
Like how in
They're
comparison to books?
popular. The problem with video games is everybody has a different system. And so it's impossible to buy enough to really have a great collection for any, unless we were to decide that, okay, we are literally only going to buy for this one system, and then they'll get searched based on however many people have that. So it's kind of spread around.
So what if we reduce that as much as half
Okay.
and wherever you think that number is comfortable and put some of that over in the capital? I think we need something in
Okay.
that line so that if something comes up during the year, we have a place to pull for that.
Well,
So
let's
just do
put let's
some
put
shifting.
let's put 1,000 in there. Let's take the phone down by 500, because if we switch, there's going to be at least $500 in savings. Like that, right?
Once you
If
have,
I'm thinking,
they have a few startup costs at the beginning,
oh right.
like Novato, but they got a few startup costs.
Yeah. Did they quote you that?
They quoted me this.
The startup cost, like the
Maybe they like you better than me.
install.
You know what? No, she did not quote the install, but she thought they already have cable running to us.
They
so
still have to
it's
come in and
the
put in this.
hardware.
Yeah, they still come put in the system. You gotta get your router. I don't know if that's included in this monthly or not.
Okay, so let's put $500 in. Let's make video games 500. Let's put $500 in capital expense. I will actually run the numbers for the phone company, and I will adjust that line and put whatever's left into capital expense. And I'm hoping that'll hit at least 1,000 in there. I think it should. I think safely.
And are we gonna think then that worst case scenario, based on what Christie is tossing out here, that we could take from the capital expense for the startup for Novato?
We could use that, or we could, I mean,
I realize we have board designated funds, but I think we should be submitting a budget that doesn't depend on board designated funds.
okay, then yes, we'll use the capital expense and maintenance supplies if it goes way over. Because that makes sense.
Okay. And I'm not at all suggesting that we shouldn't use board designated funds, but I am suggesting that
The budget
for the
should.
budget, we
Yes.
shouldn't be counting on board designated funds.
You and your
That
tight
makes sense.
purse strings.
Yeah, I know. What can I say?
My goodness.
All right, then is there anywhere else that anybody is worried about?
I don't switch to internet instead of NAT. Or internet.
Oh
yeah,
do you have a typo? Oh wow, look at that.
I thought that was just what it was under the old system.
The really interesting thing is, we've been using BadgerNet for years thinking that it was the fastest option, and at this point it's not. We are actually going to get more bandwidth for Novato. I know, I don't know when it swapped, but like my mind was blown. I was like, ooh. So yeah.
Okay. So I am, yes.
I'm interrupting you. You were gonna get a motion for that for me for my notes.
Yes. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the budget as adjusted per our conversation. If someone would like to so move.
So Zanny, I'll approve, or I'll make that motion.
Okay, a motion is made by Annie. I'm looking for a second.
I'll second that.
Second made by Bruce. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion is carried. All right, Becky has provided us with her goals as for our request. Based on her evaluation that was completed recently. That is the last.
Christy came and spoke with me, thank you.
Yeah. Questions or comments for Becky?
I had two just follow-up questions.
Sure.
To make sure I'm clear in my mind. The last one was work on clearer boundaries with board members and staff.
Yes.
Are you thinking boundaries between us and the staff, or?
No,
Which direction are you talking with this?
Me and you and me and them, not you
Okay.
and them. I would hope that all of my staff knows that they can come and talk to you guys at any point. I realize that's not what's happening at the school right now, and I think that's super useful. So if one of my staff members comes up to you, please be nice to them.
I was curious.
No.
I won't be my normal now.
They have been told to go to you, so please, yeah. All right, but no, I mean me and you and me and them.
And are there any boundaries that you think, I'll just ask, that we're violating with you that we could help set
No,
those boundaries?
it's me not being able to not check my email at 11 o'clock and responding to you at 11 o'clock on Saturdays.
Yeah, we don't
Also,
do that.
none of you have ever told me that I have to. Like, this is not even like a
No,
thing.
there's a sense of urgency. It's rough.
And this is a personal goal.
Yeah.
So my person needs to not respond to things in the middle of the night. They come off funny when I send stuff and I'm driving in the car.
She's right.
And then the other one was just looking to update the collection development policy and bylaws. Anything in particular that you think is a current issue? So we haven't talked about any current issues, so I was just surprised a little bit with that one.
The system as a whole has done a whole lot of work on the collection development policies over the last 5 years, just because of the environment. And our collection development policy hasn't been looked at since before all of the challenges. And I think it held up decently, but I would like for it to be bulletproof if there is another wave of this stuff. And I think there are just things that we could now add, again, that have kind of been looked at on the system level and that sort of thing. So I'd like to look at it. And the bylaw, I thought maybe we want to look at the bylaws and maybe put something about, like a sentence in there about, please tell the board president if you're leaving or something. I just thought, I feel like they keep popping up in little discussions. So maybe putting them in front of Jeff once a year isn't the worst idea. So yeah. So no, nothing like huge. I just, collection development policy is old now. It needs to be done. And I've kind of been putting it off.
Okay.
Now it's here and I have to do it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for doing that.
I was like jumping up and down, excited about the cross training idea. I really think that teamwork will add to the efficiency that we're looking for in the library, and being able to swap jobs and places and allow people to be more fluid and get more done. I'm way in favor of that one. And I appreciate your attention to your office, because it is clear and people do see in, and it's right at the circulation desk. So
Yeah, that is
it's
an eyesore. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Most of the books are out for the book sale now. So now I can put things in storage. I'm very excited.
And the only other comment I had is, speaking of presentations, I think you should think about a presentation that would benefit our community, like how to use Libby and make that available to our clients and our patrons, because I've gotten a lot of questions about that, and they're recurring ones, because it takes a while for people to learn it. So some kind of workshop along those lines. It's not that it's always bad to present to platforms, but that doesn't actually contribute to our community and our library use. So I would love to see your attention there, building up our community.
I wonder if you could video it and put it on YouTube.
That's what I was thinking.
I wonder if that's.
I mean, counts views, you know, YouTube does. And
Find the one that was done by the professional and put it on a
Yeah.
YouTube page.
I know, but then
But more than that, if you're having trouble using Libby, they probably need you to sit next to them to give a presentation, and then to sit next to them and say, no, not that button. Yes, right there. Okay, now go to the, no, try again. So a presentation, a live presentation followed up by like checking on your class.
Yeah, well, please let people know to watch our stuff. I know that that's always a really hard thing to get the word out, but we did have like a computer help session
Mhm.
And
But if
maybe
it's-
okay.
Right, but if it's not
Right,
labeled
I
as,
know.
come learn how to download
Yes.
audiobooks
Yeah.
and, it has to be
I need a refresh.
targeted.
You practice with me.
Yeah.
I need a refresher.
All right. Well, if I find a good video, I might send it to you because I might watch the video in the room with them and then do the stuff. If it's already created,
Right.
Yeah.
then I won't
you don't
miss
have to
anything,
reinvent the wheel.
but I could watch it with them and then help them walk through.
Maybe put links to those maybe on the website or
Yes.
maybe they're there already.
They should be on the if list. So on your catalog sites.
Keep in mind, if they need help with living.
I say living, I don't know.
They
All right.
need it low tech advertisement. Invitation. Okay, anything else for Becky, for me?
Nope.
All right, I am closing our meeting at 7:11. Oh, wait, one more thing. I have to set a time and date.
Oh, great. So Thanksgiving is there.
It sure is.
Okay. So the 20th, I think was that. People mostly around on the 20th?
Well, it goes better than 27th.
Well, right.
Yeah, I would think the 20th works.
Right.
Thursday before gun season, sure.
I think
Yeah.
in the past, have we kind of combined this and done an early December one?
Because
I think we've done a real light December one.
We've done a
Oh, like
really
December.
Okay.
just bills,
Yeah,
yeah.
just cover bills. So we don't have. any-
Merry Christmas to us. Yes.
Framework.
Oh, yeah. Wow, December looks awful.
Is it worth trying to set that meeting out?
Well, with Christmas on a Thursday, it just looks,
don't
and
look
then, the week after is New Year. Do you guys want to? Do you think, should we just set one to do the bills on the 18th, honestly, and just do it?
December 18th.
Yeah,
Have it be a bill only.
yeah, just a bill only.
Would it be worth moving it to like the 16th, a little bit further away from the chaotic holiday?
It is a choir concert
I
here.
was gonna say,
Oh,
we're
thank you.
probably looking at.
I don't have that
that
on my
week
calendar.
before.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I just need 3 of you, and I promise we won't try to approve anything else, Giving me 5 weeks vacation and Aruba.
To Aruba
All right, let's schedule it. Let's schedule it at the 18th. I'll make you guys RSVP and I'll make sure I have 3 of you to come for 10 minutes and do the bills.
For when?
For December 18th,
5:05 again?
5:05. Everybody seems to like 5:05.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
And both of those are back at the library?
As of right
As of
now,
now?
yes. I'll double check the calendar and yeah. This wasn't bad though.
I actually like this.
Yeah, this
space
is
here.
We can see each other a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. Professionally leaning back. It was not a good look. Maybe we could have had
I feel like I already rushed us during one topic. I was like, no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Happy holidays.
Alright.
To celebrate.
Thank you.
I'll be at the
That's my
costume
favorite
party.
part. I love seeing the kids.
Yes, on Saturday night, Linda and I will be there in costumes. We'll do a haunted walk.
That's right.
The concrete park.
I won't be coming. I hate scary stuff.
Oh,
So
Saturday night, Thanksgiving.
the passion.
No, that's okay. I know lots of people that. It's
And you don't have to do.
If there's a single kid with a gore costume, my kid will be the one running and screaming, crying out.
Annie, thank you so much.
Should be my good.